Hello everyone, this is Yolanda from the Art Crafts channel. In today's tutorial we will be making this little bunny hat. I'm using the medium weight worsted yarn, which is a 10 ply, and I just used the white and then the pink for the inside ears and the trim. So this is really cute. You could check out in the video box description, there'll be some hook size suggestions for your sizes. So this would be the hat to match the little diaper cover I made a few days ago, and that's why I made the two colors that way. And then in the back, if you want, it's optional, I put in a little tail, little bunny tail. So that's our little set. I hope you'll enjoy this tutorial, and let's get the party started. Okay, to begin the hat, I'm going to be using a size H hook, which is a number 8. But then, of course, just look at in the video description box for other hook suggestions for sizing. This is a 5mm, 5.0 millimeter hook. I'm using the medium weight yarn, which is a weight 4. And to begin, you could either begin with the disappearing circle or magic circle or chain 4 and then slip stitch into the first chain. I'm going to be doing the disappearing circle or the magic loop, what people call it. So here the end of the yarn is here on my left. I just get the yarn, this is the end that's coming off the skein, just wrap it around just like so. Then with my thumb and my index finger I hold that loop there, bring the yarn to the back. Now I could bring out that loop, grab the yarn and do a single crochet just like so. Now this might be getting kind of big, so you could pull it a little bit, just don't completely close it, okay? If your work starts getting too big and it's hard to control, go ahead and do that. So here I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. This counts as a double crochet here and throughout the rest of the work. Maybe if I could focus this better, sorry guys. So then here I'm going to go ahead and do 11 more double crochets. So here I'm going to yarn over, go into the circle, you'll have 3 loops of yarn, pull through the first 2, then the next 2, so that would be 1, 2, and you're going to do it till you have a total of 12, including that chain 3. So this counts as 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do 12 double crochets into that circle. Don't close it yet. If it starts getting too big, you could close it, hard to work, you could pull it a little bit just to control your circle. And then when you finish with your 12, then you could pull it and close it. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 12 double crochets. Okay, I have done my 12. This includes the chain 3. So now I can pull that shut. I'm going to slip stitch into the third chain, 1, 2, and 3. Then that will be my first starting. And if this is too hard for you, you can also chain 4, slip stitch into the first ring, and then we would be here in and then do your chain 3 and do your 12 double crochets into that ring. So here for row 2, I'm going to chain 2, excuse me, 3, 1, 2. I grabbed the wrong yarn. See that, guys? I got confused. Okay. So I'll move that loop over. Obviously that's wrong. So here 1, 2, and 3, and then into that same stitch I'm going to yarn over and do another double crochet. Remember the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Let me trim this because I don't want that to get in the way too much. So now here what you're going to do, you're going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch, so you'll have an increase in every stitch. So here at the end you should have 24 double crochets, including this first chain 3. This is the first double crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to do 2 double crochets in each stitch, so you'll have an increase in each stitch for a total of 24 for this row. Okay, I've done my last double crochet, so I have 24. I'm going to slip stitch here into the third chain, and then I'm going to repeat row 2, meaning that I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, do a double crochet into that same stitch right there. Oops, forgot that. And now once again I'm going to do 2 double crochets into every stitch. Okay, so here's 2. So you're going to repeat this all the way around, doing 2 double crochets in every stitch for a total of 48 in this round. Okay, so here, my second one. So I'm going to continue doing this until I go all the way around, and I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and that will give me a total of 48 double crochets. Okay, I finished the 3rd row, so here I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and now here, instead of doing 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in our next stitch I'm going to do, this counts as 1 double crochet, so here I'm going to work 9 double crochets, 1 in double crochet in each of the 9 stitches. So here's 1, so here's 1, this would count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here you're going to have 9 double crochets including here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then in the 10th stitch you're going to do 2 double crochets. So you're going to do an increase. So here's 1 and 2 in the same thing. So there you have your increase. You're going to repeat that all the way around. When you do your last double crochet, you won't have the 10 stitches here. You're just going to do the however many you have left. So here I'm just going to repeat that and just do my 9, 1 double crochet in each of the next 9, and then on the 10th stitch I will do an increase. Okay, the yarn is stuck here. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I want you to repeat that all the way around. Okay, at the end, like I said, you won't have a full amount. Once you do your last double crochet, there's fewer stitches, but just go ahead and do 1 double crochet in the remaining, in each of the remaining stitches. So here, just on your 10th stitch, you do your increase. Okay, I've done the 4th row, so here I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and now here for rows 5 to 11, we're just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch, no more increases. Okay, so here I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. When you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and then you're going to continue your rows. So there's no more increases, just 1 double crochet in each stitch until you get to row 11. Row 12 will be a row of contrasting yarn. If you want to make a solid color beanie, then you would go ahead and do it in 1 double crochet in each stitch until you have 12 rows. I'm going to do 11 rows, get to 11 rows. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do from 5 to row 11 in the white, and then row 12 I will change colors, and I will show you how we do that. So go ahead and do your rows until you have 11 rows. Okay, I finished the 11th row, and since I'm going to be changing colors of yarn, I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, 1, 2, and 3. So here I'm going to cut my yarn. If you're going to do it solid color, then you would just leave the same yarn and do 12 rounds. I'm changing to the pink because this is the hat that I'm making to match the diaper cover that I just uploaded this week. If you haven't seen it, it's a how to crochet a basic diaper cover. So here I'm adding my pink yarn, and then here now I'm going to go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and finish my last row of 1 double crochet in every stitch. So here then I will yarn over, finish my last row here, and slip stitch into the 3rd chain when I finish. Once I finish, I'll slip stitch there, and then I will go ahead, oops, sorry, just hit the camera. I will go ahead and fasten off, and my hat, that part of the hat will be complete. So I want you to go ahead and finish your last row, whatever color you're making. Remember I said if you're making for a little boy, you could make it tan or gray or whatever color you're going to make your bunny. Or you could just do it a solid color. So here I'm just putting the trim, and this is the color, the pink, that will be inside the inside part of the ear. So I want it to be able to have a little kind of matching there. So go ahead and finish your entire row. I'm going to slip stitch when I finish, then we'll come back and work on the ears. Okay, I finished the 12th row, so now I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain. I'm going to cut the yarn, leave a tail that it's easy for me, long enough for that, so that I can easily sew it in. So this is the first part of our hat, the beanie, the basic beanie for this. And I'm going to be referring to this as a basic beanie for these little character hats. Usually my regular beanie, I just do after row 3 I just do 1 single crochet. This one I made it a little bit wider on row 4. So this is where you're going to be doing this, your beanie. Now we're going to go ahead and start the ears. You're going to have to make 2 white and 2 pink, because you're going to use the pink on the inside part of the ear. And if you don't want to make it pink inside, then you could do all 4 in white. So here I'm going to start with the ear. So I'm going to make 2 of these pink. The outer ear would be white, and then the inner ear would be pink, okay? So here I'm going to go ahead and do a slip loop. And then I'm going to go ahead and chain 10. Don't do it too tight, and I know I crochet pretty tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, okay? And now here I'm going to begin doing 1 double crochet in every stitch beginning on the 3rd stitch from the end, okay? So here 1, 2, 3 on the 3rd chain, excuse me, from the end. So right there I'm going to go ahead, let me see, get a little bit further back there, yarn over, and then into my 3rd chain I go in 3 loops on the hook, pull through the first 2, then the next 2, and now you're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, and then our last one. There we go. So 1 in every stitch. Okay. Now once I do this, I'm going to put a little piece of yarn so that I could be able to tell which ones are my right side. I'm just going to cut a little piece of the pink here and pull it through front, the other side here, and that way it'll let me know which one is the right side. You're going to make 2 of these white ones and 2 exactly the same way in pink. So once I do that, now I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2, and this is going to be rows 2 to 11. Okay, we're going to do this, turn around, and then on your next stitch here, so this is the first stitch there, our next stitch there, you're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch, finishing with your last double crochet will be on top of the 3rd chain, okay, of your, when you move up rows. So here's 2, and if you want your ears to be a little shorter, you can make 10 rows instead of 12 like I'm doing here. So here, and then here is going to be my last one right on top of that 3rd chain, okay? So here you would continue rows until you have 12. If you want to make them a little bit shorter, you can do 10 rows. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the 10 rows, but the 12 rows looks really cute too. So either way, here's 1, 2, I turn around, and then I continue 1 stitch there. So I want you to go ahead and do that. And you're going to make 2 of these, okay? If you do the 12 chains, it's really cute because it goes all the way here, all the way down to about here. So if you do the 12 rows, it's going to, because we're going to put it connected around the 3rd row here, 2nd and 3rd row right here, it'll be really cute because it'll hang low. So I'm going to go ahead and do my total rows here. I will have 12 total rows. So I'm on my 3rd row, so I have a few more. Then we'll come back and shape the bottom of the ear. Remember, we need to do 2 white and 2 pink. Okay, I've done the 11 rows, so it just looks just like this. So now to go to row 12, you're just going to chain 1, turn your work over, you're going to yarn over. Okay, I've done the 11 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I had filmed the 12th and 13th row here in the white, but the finishing, but I think it accidentally got erased. So let me show you once again here what I did for row 12 and 13. So here, once you remember, you're going to do 2 in white. Here's my 2 in white, and I'm working the pink ones now. So here, to go to row 12, you're just going to chain 1, turn your work over, and now we're going to do a decrease over this next 2 stitches of a half double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, go into your next stitch here, right there, pull out your yarn. There'll be 3 loops of yarn on your hook. Don't pull them yet, and go to the next stitch, pull out. We'll have 4 strands and pull through all 4. So you're going to do a half double double crochet decrease. And now here over the next 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3 stitches, we're going to do a half double crochet. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And now over the last stitch and on the chain 3 stitch, we're going to do another decrease. So here, let me show you what I'm doing here. Just like we did in the front, yarn over, go into that stitch there, pull out your yarn. You'll have 3 loops. Now you're going to go ahead and go into the next stitch. I'm not yarning over, I don't want a bulky area there. So here on top of the chain 3 stitch, I'm going to go in there, pull out my yarn, and I'll have 4 loops, pull through all 4. So now that is row 12. Now for row 13, where you're going to chain 1, turn our work over, and we're just going to do 1 half double crochet. This is the first stitch, so here on the next one, in every stitch across, 1, 2, 3, get a little bit more yarn, 4, and then our last half double crochet is going to be here on top of our chain 1 that we used to go up. Okay, so here is our last half double crochet. Okay, something got stuck there. Then I'm going to cut my yarn. Sorry guys. Cut the yarn, and then you're going to pull through. So I'm going to make my last pink one here. So it's going to look just like that. This one kind of looks a little bit yucky, but I'm going to sew them in. So they're going to have this shape. It's like that. And then when you sew them together, the white will be on the outside, the pink will be on the inside, just like that. And then we'll sew them together. So I'm going to make one more pink one, because then I'll have my whole 4 of them. Then we'll come back and sew them together. Okay, so all of my 4 pieces are ready, and now we're going to put the wrong sides together. I could see that this is the wrong side and this is the right side, so this I want to the top, and then this is the wrong, so I want these 2 together. Okay, so this is going to be the top part of the ear, and this is going to be the inside part of the ear. If you want to pin it, you can. I'm not going to do that. And then you're going to sew. I have my yarn here with my white yarn. So here, this tail, I'm just going to stick it inside. Shouldn't If you want to sew in the tails, I did sew in the tails of these edges because I want those to look nice and rounded. See how I was able to shape it there? So here I'm just going to start in the top here. I'm going to get my two, oops, here. You know what? I need to tie this first before I hide them in the inside. So bring that there. And then tie these two together. And the pink one is super long, so I'm going to go ahead and throw those to the inside, just like that. And then I'm just going to sew, get these tails in there, sew around the edge here with the white, just like that. And then you can see how I'm grabbing these, going through both ends, both part of the chain, just like that. And just align it so that, see, you're keeping it nice and even, just like that. I just use my hand. I don't pin it. I'm not going to pin this because it's a pretty short piece as far as, and this is how it's going to look once you start sewing it. Just sewing those together all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and sew both of them this way, and I'm going to sew all the way around and then end up here. Okay, don't cut your yarn yet because we're going to gather this little end to make it a little bit smaller, not a lot, but just a tiny bit. So here I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing all the way around, and then I'll come back so I'll show you how we gather when we get here to the end. So this is just how it's going to look, just like that. The inside and then the outside. Okay, I finished sewing both of the edges together so it looks kind of nice and thick like that. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to stick this little tail inside, okay, and then I'm going to get my needle and just go through here to the top, and then I'm just going to kind of go in and out, in, out, and then as I work I'm going to kind of see how I'm just kind of tugging at it to gather it, not a lot, just a little bit, okay, and out. So then I gather that, see how it makes that little gather, just like that. So it's just a little bit gathered, just like this. It's not a lot, just to kind of give it that little shape. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and gather the back here and put a little knot. So just gather it a little bit, okay? Since I still have my yarn here, this one I cut it, but I'm going to go ahead and add a different yarn. What we're going to do here, you're going to get your hat, let me move this back, and you need to make sure I sewed in my tails here. This is the back seam, so you're going to, that's the back part here. And so I'm just kind of fold it there to kind of find it place. So maybe about there. And I think I'm going to put it like in, see how this is the first round and second round, probably around there, just like that. And then I'm just going to sew it in place, like there. I'm going to go into the back. And you're just going to stitch it in place there. Let me put this, so this pink section there. So I attached my corners nice and tight, and then I'm going to follow this seam around there, and then I'm just going to sew kind of in place there, a few stitches like there. I'm trying to hold it in a position so you could see it better. And the pink is to the bottom. And just continue sewing it there. Make sure you go through both layers. again, here's my little end there. I'm trying to be careful so that I don't make it crooked there. And this is probably my last couple stitches there. Just like that. See how I just followed that line of the third round? I'm going to go here again, and I'm going to reinforce the corners because usually that's where they end up tearing. There. Go to the inside now. Grab my yarn just like that, and then make my little knot, 1, maybe 2. Once I do that, I'm going to try to hide this tail a little bit. Just kind of, I don't want it to come out. Tear that off. May not tear it off, cut it off. So, let's see, go back. Here is the first ear. Isn't that cute? And if you want, you could put a face on it. It's totally up to you. So here's the first one. And so now, I'm just going to put this one across from it just like that. I love the way this little bunny hat comes out. I'm going to thread my yarn because this won't be enough to sew my next ear. I'm going to sew the next ear in place. Okay, and we'll come back and work on that after that ear is done. To make sure that the ear is in the right place, I'm just going to open this here. Here's my first one. There's the third round. I'm going to put my hat ear there, and it would be right there, kind of across there. Then I'm going to sew this in, starting right there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how you would fill that in there. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to have my tail here. I'm going to tie this here because remember the other side I had cut the yarn long enough. So here I will sew in this tail when I finish. And now I can just finish sewing the little ear there across the top of the hat there. I always do a couple stitches, a couple of them in the ends, because that's usually like, sometimes if you pull them down, the ears, they'll fall off or they'll get unsewn there. So I'll go ahead and finish that, and we'll come back and then I'll show you the rest. Okay, the hat is done. So here's our bunny hat. I have the white and the pink here. And this is the hat that I did to match the little diaper cover that I did a few days ago. So if you don't remember, this is what the diaper cover looked like. Let me move this back here. So I had the white and pink here. If you're making it for a little boy, you might want to make it like gray or a light brown, and then maybe a dark brown in the middle here inside the ears, and then you can either do the trim or just leave it all a solid color. So here the hat is done. On the little diaper cover, I also put a little pom-pom for the little bunny tail, but that's optional. You can just do that. I have a tutorial on how to do the pom-pom. For the pom-pom here, I use this Clover pom-pom maker, or you could use it a little piece of cardboard. So here is our little set, all of it together. Here, let me see if I can move the camera better. So there's a little diaper cover and the hat. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please help me grow my channel by sharing my videos with your friends and your family and having them subscribe. And also through social sites like Google+. I want to invite everybody to go to my Google+ and start sharing things there. And also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Click the like button. I hope you enjoyed it. Please have a great day. And remember always that God loves you.